All right. So Alexander's up. He says, couldn't find the answer to the exact question. To that exact question. Okay. Even in a WordPress site, should I build the blog in a subdomain so I can be a little more aggressive with links? For me, looks like it loses a little power. Subdomain, not on the domain, but for sure is safer. Yeah, it is safer, Alexander. But I mean, you can do that. I don't see the point really of doing that unless you were going to be like really aggressive. Um, I don't really see the point in doing that. I would leave the blog on the root domain if you're, or from the subdomain if that's what you're running it from. I wouldn't like what I'm saying is if it's a WordPress site on the root domain, I wouldn't separate the blog out of that unless there was a specific reason for doing it, not just for content syndication, which is I think what you're talking about, because you can use the blog on the main site for the content distribution, right? So like, in other words, you publish to the main blog and that syndicates out. And I don't see why you would be worried about being super aggressive unless you were going to be posting like a whole bunch of spammy content or maybe posting too frequently. In which case, then that could be a problem. Or like if you were using like automated content generators to post to the blog. So then in which case, I would say absolutely put that on a subdomain. But if you're creating like, typical content for the blog for that site that would make sense, that's relevant, it adds value, that kind of stuff, then I would say just do it right from the root blog. But, again, if you're going to be using like automated content generators or you're using spun content or just low quality content and content sources, then yes, I would separate that out and do the content distribution from a subdomain. And that would be to protect your root from those spammy activities. You wouldn't be hosting or publishing that spam, lower quality content on your root domain at that point. Harnan, what do you think?
Yeah, I would still keep it on the root domain. Like, even when you're doing subdomains and link building, you can be a little bit more aggressive. But if you have something valuable on the root domain, I wouldn't do it. Even if you can, use 301s. We have gone through this several times, but I wouldn't do it. So I would still, if it is a WordPress site, I will still do it on the root domain. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I will still take care of that, even if I'm blasting a subdomain, because if it's working right now, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work, in the near future. We already know that. So tread carefully.
Yeah, again, I only if I was doing some like really spammy stuff. As far as being aggressive, you can be aggressive from your main blog as long as it's high quality content, right? That it's good, it's relevant, it's adding value, that kind of stuff. You can be aggressive from there because essentially what you're doing is just publishing content. And that syndicates out to the network, which in turn builds the links and the social signals and blah, blah, blah. You know how it goes, Alexander. So, again, unless I was doing automated content or spun just low quality stuff or posting too frequently, then I wouldn't worry about it. I'd just do it right on the root blog.